Go ahead.
Good morning. This is Alderman Sandy Weidner calling.
Oh, hi, Sandy.
Hi. I overheard some of the comments that John Dickert had made regarding some of my comments and some of my motivations, and I'd like to correct those, if I may.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'd like you to repeat the question that you asked of the mayor regarding the fund that led him down this other road discussing something that had nothing to do with the fund.
You mean the bicycle path?
Well, the fund that I was speaking of at the council meeting was the intergovernmental fund.
Yeah, all I said, my wife sent me a text message asking Mayor about the intergovernmental fund and the Porter's sale.
Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah, that's all she is. What about the intergovernmental fund and the Porter's sale? The thing I asked, the other thing was, I asked why wasn't I heard you say that you weren't notified, your committee wasn't notified of the money spent on the bicycle path. And I said, why wasn't she notified? That was it. And the mayor said, made a mistake.
Correct. And then he said there were a couple comments that he made in regards to my motivation, that I was making the problem worse, and I'd like to know how exactly I did that. The other thing that John Dickert had said is that I was trying to negotiate with individuals whose property could be taken by eminent domain.
Well, actually, Sandy, I think it'd probably be a good idea for you to talk to Scott Letney at the city attorney. But you actually had a conversation, Sandy.
Sandy, the radio that I was
Sandy, you actually had a conversation with the owners, and I actually recorded you doing it. And unfortunately, that puts us.
And there is nothing.
Actually, you don't, Sandy. So Sandy, what you did was you can't negotiate for the city.
John, that you have a copy of a recording of me talking with one of the property owners.
And this is part of the problem that we have. This is part of the problem that we have. Sandy, you can't talk to and negotiate with people. We have a separate entity that does that. It's a separate entity that's actually brought. I know how it
works, and I know when I talk to that gentleman, I
and now you
told
see
him
why
exactly
we
what
have the problems that we have.
Sadowski told me, and what Tom Friedel told me, and Alderman Deal. He said that we would never eminent domain that property. And when I ran into that gentleman that owns the property on Mound Avenue, when I was riding my bike on Mound Avenue, I told him that I was told that we would never eminent domain your property. That's what I told him. So there was no negotiation.
Sandy, I think we should probably have this with your attorney at the city, Sandy, because you're not letting me talk. But what I'm going to tell you over the air is that I sat in the same room that you did, and you said to the business owners that you shouldn't negotiate with us, and that is negotiating or giving those people an understanding.
Between a public hearing and closed session.
Sandy, unfortunately, I think this is probably a conversation that you should have with the city attorney.
I would be happy to provide a copy of that meeting to the radio station.
No, Sandy, I think that's probably a good conversation to have with the city attorney at this point.
I'm not going to talk to the city attorney. There's no reason for me to. You're bald-faced lying, John.
Well, Sandy, I was there, and I heard it, and it's unfortunate.
I don't know what you think you heard.
Well, Sandy,
you were the one that ran out in the hall, John. You were the one that ran out in the hall and talked to the owner of the property that your buddy, Bonnie Osterman, is renting.
Well, Sandy, it's unfortunate.
It wasn't me out there negotiating. It was you.
Sandy, unfortunately, here again, this is where I think you really need to sit to talk to the city attorney, because you're saying things.
Actually,
I think at this point, I think you do, Sandy.
You're the one that should talk to
Sandy,
the attorney.
I feel really bad for you.
It's the first time that you've lied on the radio. Remember the lawsuit with Bill Beelfield when you lied about him being an embezzler?
If you're going to campaign, why don't we do this in a debate rather than here?
On the lies that you're telling.
Why don't we do this in a debate instead of here, Sandy? Because unfortunately, there are callers that actually want to call in and talk about real issues. I really feel sad.
Being on the radio lying about an alderman is a real issue.
Sandy, unfortunately, I'm
lying
not.
Lying about what I said and lying about my motivation.
Sandy, I'm sorry you feel that way, and God bless you, but I think this is a conversation you should have with the city attorney going forward.
This is not a conversation with the city. You should talk to the city attorney about the expense that you caused by lying on the radio, and that's exactly what you've done again.
Well, Sandy,
you have to stop.
Sandy, unfortunately, you need to stop campaigning on the radio. You really do, because you know that the Bielefeld suit was thrown out, and you know why. And Sandy, it's unfortunate that you keep bringing this stuff up. It's really sad.
The Bielefeld lawsuit was thrown out not because of something that he had done or he hadn't done. I heard you on the radio lie again, call him an embezzler. He never embezzled anything.
Sandy, you know as well as I do what happened, and it's unfortunate that you're taking this to the radio, and I feel really sad about it.
You took it to the radio.
I feel sad about it. So
I am responding to you.
Well, Sandy, we'll have this debate. I'm looking forward to having it with you.
John, if you're going to continue to call me by my first name, both publicly and privately, then you will no longer wear the title. Well,
Sandy, you're calling me by my first name, so I'll call you Alderman from now on. You call me Mayor from now on, and we'll respect each other, and I look forward to the debate.
Okay, I'm running out of time. Alderman, I appreciate the call. We're just running out of time here.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you, Alderman. I appreciate you coming in there.